Welcome one, welcome all to the Trey McBride Show. Well, wait, that's going on in Arizona, actually. Trey McBride getting his 10th catch for 95 yards. Let's see if he can hit that bonus there. And if you're just now joining us, make sure to hit that like button, please. We got a big game tonight between the Chargers and the Bears. It's actually going to be a fun game, I think. The Chargers secondary has been a little bit of a letdown so far this season. And this Tyson Bagent doesn't look like the worst player in the world. So, Glock, how are you doing today, man? And how's your Sunday been?
It's been hectic, man. I think we have, the DFS sports are in full swing. So right before we hopped on, we were talking about NBA, obviously had to wait on the Embiid news and then, swap from that right over to NFL. So Sundays are jam packed and hectic with a lot of stuff we got to do, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a lot of fun to keep track of everything and sweat everything out. So yeah, I've been having fun.
Yeah, 100%. We just lost our guy Kurt there. So Kurt pulling out the old iPad trick. And, we're going to go without him for at least the first few minutes, and we'll see how this goes. But, yeah, Sundays are fun. It's not fun when you have Sergio Perez crash on the opening lap of his home Grand Prix Glock. That one kind of hit a little too close to home. But anyway, we have football to talk about. We got a fun game tonight, and obviously – some winners to be picked, and we have quarterback situation here. We're going to go position by position. We'll dive into the slate and kind of go from there. But the quarterback position tonight, you got the stud and Justin Herbert, and then you got this Division II Tyson Bagent, a stud from Shepherd University. You got the first win for the Bears on the season last week against the Raiders. Just unreal stuff, actually, just in the end all be all is when I looked at his college stats. I mean, this guy, he's better than Caleb Williams. I mean, I was shocked that he went undrafted. But Tyson Bagent, does he have any interest in your lineups today? And do you think the possibility of captaining our guy, Justin Herbert, is in play tonight?
Man, I don't know if you're trolling or if you're really actually higher on Tyson Bagent than I am, but I'm going to have to feel you out during the show because, man, I've been the 5-1, connoisseur, I feel like, on this show so far. And, even though the Chargers have been super, super bad, the Bears defense has just been equally as bad too, right? So I think the contrarian route, obviously, to play this slate is to expect points from both sides. So if you do get a Herbert lineup with Tyson Bagent, I do think that'll be more contrarian than most of the 5-1, 4-2s leaning the Charger side. I just think this is a spot where the Chargers finally, everyone's losing faith in them. To start the season, everyone loves the Chargers, right? They're going to take that next leap. And then, a few games later, they get exposed. Brandon Staley looks like a donkey, making certain play calls and decisions with timeouts and stuff like that. But I think this is a game that they have an opportunity to maybe get get back in people's good faiths and show a good performance finally. So I'm probably going to be lower on Tyson Bagent. But like I said, I think, you can make a case for the contrarian route where if you do play both quarterbacks and, you do hope for points for both sides, I think that will be less owned than, the 5-1 onslaughts and whatnot. But yeah, more so overweight on the Herbert side for QBs and then underweight for me personally on Bagent.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it here. I mean, the 5-1 is going to be popular. And if you don't do a 5-1, that probably means you might have interest in Bagent. I mean, only $9K for a quarterback. It's kind of a soft price. The thing with the Chargers, the secondary has just been awful. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, is that you can get in behind on this defense. And DJ Moore got 9 targets last week, so he's got some stacking options. You have Tyler Scott. You also have Darnell Mooney. And obviously, a guy completely left off the playbook on accident, complete accident, was Cole Kmet. So, I mean, there's stacking options there for not too high of a price tag. Even DJ Moore is only 9,200. So, I think he can be viable. It's just a matter of, does he outscore? How far can he score within Keenan Allen or Austin Eckler? Because if one of those does, then there's a good chance that Moore or Bagent are there. I don't hate it. I do think that you just play the matchup more and more again. You can also see, when Big T posted his flow chart, which you haven't seen, it was a great tool today. Very good, just completely unbiased look at how matchups, how the matchups are for this week. Big T, did mention or did notate that this is a good spot potentially for Bagent. And here's the man himself. I didn't even realize he joined. And it's Big T. What's he doing with the quarterbacks today?
I don't even know who plays yet. I got to get on here and lock it in. Kurt told me he doesn't have a camera or something. He's like, "Can you hop on with the boys?" I said I wanted to hop on with the boys anyways.
There we go. Well, it is the Chargers Bears. It's nice to have you. It's your guy, Tyler Bagent, Hopefully Tyler Badgett this is his last
Tyler Vag?
Badgett.
With a V
Okay,
or
all
with
right.
a B?
With a B. B as in
Tyson.
boy. And I'll tell you this. Badgett.
I don't think I'm going to be too excited about the Bears. So, I mean, how are we going to get off these 5-1s is the better question.
I don't think you can, but we have to make this show.
That's the hard part when everyone plays 5-1s, though.
I have to. I'll play devil's advocate for Badgett. 24 yards rushing last week. You might.
I can't unhear Vag whenever you say it.
Tyson Badgett.
You know, wait. Hold on.
I can't unhear it.
The star of the show is here. Hold on. It's JSU's chair.
Yes,
I mean,
the chair.
Get
Get the chair. It's like when we were doing MMA that one night and we had Mangone's
Oh,
chair.
yeah, his chair. Yeah.
Like JSU should just leave the chair in there every show, just like that. Just frame it in and just get it in there.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a huge fan. You can just see how many times he's really just jerked it to Javonte Williams there. And there's JSU sitting in the chair. I mean, that's just great stuff right there.
There he is.
But JSU, what are you thinking about the quarterbacks tonight?
I want to know how we're getting off these 5-1s, JSU.
Oh, 5-1. We're not playing no damn 5-1s.
I know. I don't want to. Believe me, everyone's playing them, but man.
Had to come on, though. I saw Glock and Rubio by themselves, and I'm looking. I'm like, all right, well, I assume either Tony's going to hop on or I'm going to hop on. So I go to, like, do my stuff.
I like it even better when we both hop on.
I turned my camera on, and so you guys could see the chair. I come in, and then I hear Tony. I was like, of course, Tony popped on, beat me to it. But I had to come on, talk with the boys on this slate because we got to play Bears. You can't play 5-1 on this slate. I'm sorry.
The Chargers never blow teams out either is the good thing.
They never do.
Never
They're like the worst team ever in these type of spots. Like, awful. So, I don't know. And Rubio gave a really good point. Like, you can beat this team. Like guys like DJ Moore could easily have big games against this team. And I know no one wants to play Badgett or whatever, but what if it's the running backs? Like what if they find a way to, dominate the line of scrimmage and just do it with the running backs like they kind of did last week, where Badgett, he didn't really have to do that much, but it was okay. They were in the game. They won the game, and they kind of let the running game and the defense lead them, and that was the case. Who's to say Justin Herbert's finger's still a little messed up, and he's a little inaccurate, and that could easily happen here again. So the Bears also been playing a little bit better defensively. So can we give them a little bit more credit, at least on the defensive side? They haven't been as bad as I think people were to think, I guess, coming into the year. At least the last couple games, I think they've been a little bit better. So I think we got to ease up on them.
They held their own against Minnesota, but last week they went against Brian Hoyer. The week before that, they went against Sam Howell, who still put up a decent number on them, just receiving wise. I don't respect this Bears defense at all, but I do respect the fact that this Chargers defense could be bad enough to give us some players here in this game. And we'll move on to the running back position here. And by the way, shout out to the chosen Nick hitting 22K in the NFL main slate, man. Congratulations, man. We got the screenshots flowing. A lot of people are very happy with your Gus the Bus call today, Big T. Congratulations. 3 touchdowns for the main man.
I mean, I can't take credit for calls that I don't play on my main team. I never do it. It was just a strategy point. Like, if you don't play Lamar, it's a great leverage point. And I never victory lap if I didn't play it on my main team, so I won't victory lap it. But it was a good point. Like, play Gus if you don't play Lamar. And it worked out. That's why you do it. And 100%. Play Sam Howell with those receivers. Like, we made a bunch of good points. I just bricked out every freaking running back I played.
And also, too, by the way, we get shit sometimes for maybe not giving away too many plays when we talk on the show. But when we go into a game and we say, I don't know, Rashid Shaheed's my favorite play on the New Orleans Saints, and I don't really like much else. And then the guy goes off for 150 and has a big game. It's that's the whole point of the show, is to try and give you guys a play or two that you like. It's not to give you guys every single play on the game. It's supposed to be your favorite type of plays and stuff. It's supposed to make it easier for you to build teams. If I tell you every single play and just say, well, this guy's good, this guy's okay, this guy's this, and we do that for everything, how's that going to fucking help you make a team? So that's why when you watch those shows, those free shows, you're not supposed to give your thoughts on every guy, because you shouldn't like every guy on the damn team of every single game, or you're not going to help anyone win. So like I got a message from someone, and I won't say who, but he was like, after listening to your take on the 49ers game with Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy, I made this team. And the team ended up being a really good team with Joe Burrow, and he won, I think, like 5 or 6K off of it. It's like, there you go. Like that's what it's supposed to do. And Tony, and he had Gus Edwards on that team too. So I didn't really talk high about him. Tony and Wiley kind of did. So it shows like he picked away some of the better plays and calls from the show and made a really good team. That's what the show is supposed to do. It's supposed to kind of lead you to the path. It's not supposed to be give me 40, 50 plays like most people do when they get on this thing. And then, you have no fucking idea how to run with it. So that's why we do those shows. But that's why those shows are different from every other show you see and listen to around the industry. They don't help you because they don't actually give you an actual path for you to go to. So that's why it's really important to watch them. They're really important. Every single show that we do for every single sport is that same way. At least, for me, I know you guys, Big T, it's the same way with you, right? You don't take credit unless they're like guys you love.
Yeah, I mean, we try to just give strategies with stuff. And it's funny because I got burned. I said on the show, like, when your running backs get to the 1, you got to get touchdowns.
Don't talk about Dameon Pierce.
I had like
don't talk about Dameon
14
Pierce
carries inside the 1, and I didn't get any of them. So it was absolute torture chamber for me. I mean, that Pierce had like 9 carries at the 1 and couldn't get in. Just pure tilt, just uber tilt.
So going from the running back tilts to the actual running backs on this slate, the Sunday night slate, we have 2 running backs that I think are playable. That is Roschon Johnson and obviously
Roschon's going to get us even tonight, baby.
Yeah. 6,600 for Roschon. And I do think, in my opinion, you got 2 fades. You have Dante Foreman and Darrington Evans, who I think probably won't play too much. I think Roschon's going to get a majority of the work. I think he'll get 60.
Have a projection on one of the dudes you just said, Evans. I don't even know.
He was splitting the snaps with Foreman, right? He was splitting the snaps with Foreman.
Evans. That's why
you're going to see Foreman get still worked in a little bit, but he's not worth 8K, right? You have Joshua Kelly, who blowout potential, 5-1 script and stuff. Glock, talk to me about these running backs and what your plan is with Roschon and Eckler.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm kind of on an island, it seems, when JSU came in. I was like, can't do 5-1s. But I think if you are doing 5-1s, I think a way to get different is to leave a bunch of salary. Obviously, I'll get a lot of flack, but I mean, that's what my numbers are telling me. It's spitting out a lot of 5-1s. Obviously, it's not always the optimal route, but, just for example, right? Like there's some sites that have Donta Foreman with a higher projection than Roschon Johnson. And before Roschon Johnson was, he got hurt, it was trending that he was actually becoming their RB1. So I know the field will probably agree with me, but just pivoting from Donta Foreman in the lineup to Roschon Johnson, that leaves 1,400 on the table on its own. And so that's just one way where you can get a little more unique. Interesting point about the RB position is, I think there's only 3 guys really that are viable for me, at least in my 10 lineups. Obviously, you have Austin Eckler projecting pretty nicely. I'm kind of curious how much, higher Eckler is projecting for you guys than, the next running back, Foreman or Johnson. But for me, I have it like 8 points apart at least. So I'm going to have a lot of Eckler just because I'm leaning more so on the Charger side. But like I said, in 5-1s where, Foreman is the one guy, maybe you just hope that he runs it in for the touchdown and gets those points from the Bears. Just pivoting from him to Roschon is a way, I plan to get different just by leaving more salary. So that's kind of my plan for the RB position.
So you bring up a great point there too. It's also the fact that Roschon Johnson is the pass catcher of this backfield too. And I think it's important to notate that Dante Foreman is not going to be the one who gets 4 or 5 catches in a 2-minute drill. It would be Roschon Johnson in that scenario. Obviously, Roschon Johnson was overshadowed in college by Bijan Robinson, but he was still a stud in college. He's still a great pass blocker too. Big T, 6,600 feels like a steal on DK, and he's only, look at this price on FanDuel, 8,500 on FanDuel. That's super cheap for Roschon, right?
I mean, I still like Foreman more, but I like both, though. If we're trying to get off 5-1s, you're going to want the good guys from the Bears to do it, because if the good guys don't do it, it's going to be a 5-1 winner. Like, if all these good guys suck, like, it has to be a 5-1. There's no way around it. So I think you can play all these volume guys because there's not that many volume guys from Chicago. I mean, quarterback, obviously, DJ Moore, obviously, and then Foreman and Roschon. I mean, I like Cole Kmet, but he's a 0 at any point he could get. I mean, besides those 4 guys, like if you're not playing Deontay Foreman, you're running out of combos. If we got 2 Bears in there, like you're struggling a little bit. So for me, I don't know if I'm going to set this rule, but just in general, like if I was playing 1 to 3 teams, I would want one of those 2 running backs on my team. I'd want Roschon or Foreman. I wouldn't want both, obviously, on the same team. So I will set that rule right now in SaberSim to get 1 max, but I kind of want 1 min too, because the Chargers have always struggled a little with the ground game too. I just think, I don't know. I like the running backs. And I don't like a lot of people in the 5-1s are going to play these cheap Bears, Tyler Scott, Bob Tunyon, Velus Jones. I mean, guys like that. I might be different by trying to get off guys like that and just play the good Bears. And that's one way I think you can get different. I mean, these cheap Bears are going to get a lot of ownership in 5-1s. Tyler Scott could get a decent amount in 5-1. So I don't know. I like both running backs. I do. I like. I'm looking. I just don't like the rest of the roster down cheap. I mean, are you guys sold on any of these cheap Bears? I know Rubio always loves the cheap scrubs.
The guy you mentioned, really, Tyler Scott. Really.
Yeah, Tyler Scott.
That's who he's loving, Tyler Scott, the chalky cheap guy. That is Rubio's signature move. Whoever the chalkiest cheap dude is, he loves.
No. You didn't check my core. You bastard. It is Stone Smart season, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Stone Smart?
Yeah, Stone Smart. Gerald Everett's out. We'll get to the tight ends.
Is he going to be the Stones?
Touchdown the 1 week?
I love when Rubio calls Big T a bastard. I love that.
Yeah,
That's my favorite. Normally, I'm the one.
I like it too. We both like it, Rubio.
I love that.
JSU. Don't tell me you're on Dante Foreman.
Get your Showdown King hat on. Get that hat off and get your Showdown King hat on.
It's downstairs, Big T.
So I actually agree with Big T that I think the way you do it, if you don't want to play 5-1s, is you could play both running backs and in a split, which I do think it will be because, I mean, Dante Foreman wasn't even playing before all the injuries and stuff like that. And yeah, he's looked great, but he can't handle I think another full workload. I don't think they're going to give it to him with Roschon back. Roschon was clearly the guy they were setting up to eventually take on a bigger role. And now with Khalil Herbert, there's no way you don't give him, a larger role than what he was getting before the injury. So for me, I think that's a great way to do it because we just said that, if the passing game isn't the way to go, but we think the Bears can somewhat hang, or we want the Bears to hang in our script. The other way to do it that's outside the passing game is them controlling the line of scrimmage and them running the football efficiently. Maybe one of them's getting some dump offs too. Maybe it's Roschon that's getting a few dump offs and Dante that's getting, the goal line. But I really feel like they're going to split. I think it's going to be a true close to split down the middle, which is perfect for guys in the flex. You know what I mean? You put those as your 2 Bears guys. And I think playing those 2 together honestly makes you somewhat unique because I think most people will try and choose one. They'll be like, which one's it going to be? I want all the points. Whereas what if both of them get you 12 or 14? You know what I mean? If both of them get 12 or 14 and there's not much production from the Bears, they could be on the winner. So I think that's the way that I'm going to go about some of my lineups. But yeah, I'm in on the running backs. I am going to play more of the passing game than it sounds like you will, just because, I'm not playing those shitty $200 guys that Tony was talking about from the Bears. I'm not playing Bob Tunyon. I'm not playing Mercedes Lewis or Velus Jones, who you're just hoping gets a punt return or an end around to the house. Yeah, he's going to get 1 or 2 touches, and you just pray he doesn't take that to the house. I'm not playing those guys. I think you can play the smart kid that Rubio was talking about a little bit. He is 200. I think you can play a little of them. I'm not going to be super heavy on him though. It sounds like Rubio will probably be. But yeah, I'm going to definitely play some of this passing game. And, DJ Moore at 9,200 with Tyson Badgett or whatever his name is, people I hope will kind of be lower on, and I'm going to probably go over on because he's the type of guy who you can get him the ball at the line of scrimmage and he can make two people miss and go to the house. So those are the guys. It's honestly the Darnell Mooney's I'm worried about. It's some of the other Cole Kmet that I'm more worried about. Honestly, I'm not as worried about a guy like DJ Moore who you can literally he can do it with short volume. He can do it with just one play to the house. He's got multiple paths. He doesn't need Badgett to be like on point everywhere. I feel like Darnell Mooney, for him to have success, he needs Tyson Badgett to like put it on him deep. You know what I mean? 1 or 2 times. And I don't know if he can do it. Maybe he can do it. You know what I mean? But I trust DJ more and more.
The argument for that is Badgett is probably just as good of a pure passer as Fields was.
The only thing is, though, Justin Fields, the threat of him running keeps defenses, they're still worried about him taking off. So it makes it so much different, the dynamic of him just ripping off 60 yards and you thinking about that in your head, like, we can't let this happen, to then going to someone who you don't even have to think like that. You know what I mean? It's completely different.
Correct. And let's go ahead and move on to the wide receivers here. Someone mentioned that Roschon Johnson's receiving prop is 12.5. That is absurdly low. There was 4 completions to running backs last week. Dante Foreman went 3 for 31. He will be the pass catching guy. I don't even think that's a question at that point. I actually really like that prop. But let's go on to wide receivers here. We still got 25 minutes until lock.
Is Gerald Everett active or no?
Inactive. That's why Stone Smart's a stud tonight, because the Chargers run a lot of 2 tight end sets, and he already played the third most snaps. They run a lot of 2 tight ends, right? He's going to
Rubio. They're not playing McKinney at all.
McKinney's not the guy. Stone Smart plays more than McKinney.
I know that, but they're gonna. So the reason why I said that is because they're Donald Parham's gonna play like a receiver type role when he's out there a good amount, but you don't think McKinney's gonna get some snaps too?
Oh, he'll get some snaps. Yeah, I don't hate it. Stone Smart's my guy. He was 100 to 1 on Fanduel Sportsbook 2 weeks ago when I bet him for first touchdown.
You gonna do it again?
Pretty good.
Well, Glock, I already checked. And guess what his odds are for a first touchdown? Back to 39 to 1. They don't want to give me free money. I was gonna waste another $100.
That free money paid pretty good last time out.
I was going for the 10K hit, man, and they just wouldn't give it.
I like the bet, to be fair. Anytime a guy on the field is 100 to 1, I will support that, for the record.
He was on the fucking field on that goal line too. I was sitting there, I'm like,
100 to 1 is a good bet.
He played 44% of snaps last week. 44. That's a good number.
100 to 1. You can't.
Kitty's my boy, for the record. I want to put that on record before this thing locks.
I bet y'all can guess who core captain Stone Smart though from our team.
There's no way. No.
K Fallick did not core. Did he? Was it K Fallick again?
Stone Smart captain from K
Oh
Fallick.
My God, K Fallick.
The sharpest man in the industry right here. I love
He's team jamming in, baby.
Let's go. I feel like I'm definitely on the right path now if I see Stone Smart captain in there. Let's move on to wide receivers. We have Keenan Allen.
Earlier? Who was I making fun of? I got to look at the cores now. Who was I making fun of earlier? I got to check in on his core.
Kirk Cousins.
No, Jalen Hyatt was the guy.
Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt.
That damn storm. In that damn storm.
The Giants.
I will say, Tony, Garrett Wilson got it done. He got us 20. Garrett Wilson, he got us 20.
Yeah.
He got it done.
And Chalk Brees Hall. It's just tilted me with the one
18.
breakaway.
He got 18.
I know he was good, but it was just the one. I mean, you do, to be fair, you do play Brees for the one breakaway, but it is tilting when it was just the one breakaway that gets him there. But you do play him for that, so I'll be honest. It is what it is.
That's his game, but you take that away, and he's got nothing. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
Yep.
Glock. Joshua Palmer is in. Keenan Allen's still the guy, but Palmer's only 7K. It's a huge price discount there. Palmer went off against the Kansas City Chiefs in the fourth quarter last game. Also, Quentin Johnston's 4,800. Darius Davis is 800. So I don't know. He's the fourth wide receiver in those sets. The Bears have a lot of cheaper options. You got Moore at 92. You got Darnell Mooney at a stone 4K, just right there. You have Tyler Scott at 1,200. any of these wide receivers pop off the page more than the others for you, or is it kind of all blend together and they're all pretty priced? Because they all seem priced pretty correctly. Outside Palmer, maybe feeling slightly underpriced.
Yeah, I mean, I just ran my numbers, and Keenan Allen and Palmer I have pretty even. I assume it's more so just a price thing, right? I was kind of excited to click on Quentin Johnston's name. Like, if Palmer were to be out, I have a lot of shares in Best Ball, which are just totally trash probably at this point. But yeah, I won't get to Quentin Johnston, but I do have, about equal exposure to Keenan Allen, Joshua Palmer. And yeah, on the Bears side, I'm basically mixing and matching with my script. Obviously, DJ Moore, you have to like. Doesn't really matter who's buying center. He can just make plays regardless. I agree with JSU point about Darnell Mooney, who's kind of more like a deep threat. I do have my concerns about him being able to catch that long ball or like a 30, 40-yarder from Tyson Bagent for sure. So I'm probably going to be under on Mooney and over on Moore. And then, yeah, I think it's not going to be a contrarian take or anything, but Tyler Scott, 1,200 in the util, I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him just because of the scripts that I'm running. So yeah, I think those would be my favorites. I don't think it's going to be anything different than what these guys say, but I'm curious if, JSU or Big T or you have a different take.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely interesting. Big T, what are you thinking about these wide receivers here?
Yeah, I like all of them for the most part. Just looking at the different team. I mean, obviously I like Keenan, Josh Palmer. I love Parham, like you guys said, is a tight end, but he's going to play more receiver role. Quentin Johnston will blow up at some point. I can't think of a better time to play Quentin Johnston than Showdown when you want to get different, because one play can win you a Showdown slate, and that's what he's going to do. He's not going to nickel and dime you. So I like that. I actually like my favorite play, probably with the way this slate sets up, is Darius Davis. He's looked explosive. He was pretty explosive in college too. He's 800. He fits the slate. You can put him in that same bucket as Smart and McKitty. He plays special teams too, so you never know. He could take a punt to the house or something. I don't know if he does kicks and punts, but I know he's in on special teams. So I like all of the Chargers except for – who am I fading? I'm obviously fading Josh Kelly. I'm not going to play that. I probably should leave him in my pool, though, and just under project just in case he scores twice or something. But, yeah, I mean, I'm basically playing all the Chargers, though. And then the Bears side, yeah, I think DJ Moore is a great play just because of his price. And again, one time to the house. He's good. I like I don't know. I don't love Mooney at that price, but again, he's a big play guy. I don't love the price of Cole Kmet. I think I'd rather play just those running backs like I talked about from the Bears side and the quarterback and DJ Moore. I don't know. Just with the Bears side, I'm leaning more towards just those top four guys where I don't love the Santos. I got to play some Santos too and some Bears D just because. But the rest of the role players, I just don't like. What has Scott done?
He got 7 targets the last 2 games.
He's just on the field. 50% of snaps last week.
Just exercising.
He's not. He gets some targets.
You said 7 targets last week, Rubio?
7 targets over the last.
No, like over the last 2 weeks, 7 targets.
He was really good at the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, really good.
That makes me want to play him even less. He sucked at Cincinnati.
All right. Well, great job.
I forgot
way to represent the area.
Now that I know that's him, I want to play him even less.
No, it's not Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker's the shitty one. Tyler Scott was the good one.
They both sucked.
All right. Well, JSU, what do you think about these wide receivers?
I was waiting for Tony to be like, both suck ass, but he didn't go there. So the wide receivers, I mean, I definitely think that the Bears they're going to give more of the underneath routes. So it actually, this is the one worry for me is I think this game fits like Keenan Allen and Joshua Palmer like perfectly. Austin Eckler, I like him. It's just, I think the receivers are a little bit better plays like in the top spot for me, but I will have some Austin Eckler in the captain as well, because I do think there's a chance that there's dump offs to him. It just looks like it's more the wide receiver underneath routes where I think they're going to kind of play it safe and keep everything in front. A lot of cover two. That means that's like Keenan Allen, Joshua Palmer to a T to me. So I love them. I think they're the 2 of my favorite guys up top. Only got 3 captains on this slate, so they're 2 of them. And other receivers, I got a good amount of that Scott just because he is cheap. DJ Moore, I over projected compared to it looks like the field or enough, I think, to get a good amount of him. Not as high on Darnell Mooney, but the fact that I'm fading 5-1s, I will still have some just because I'm going to have no 5-1s at all in my 150. So yeah, and then Quentin Johnston, I agree with, I don't know if it was Glock or Tony, one of these guys said, like, eventually he probably will break out. I just don't know if it's going to be in this spot, but it does seem like he's trending towards like more work, more looks. I just think it's going to eventually happen, but I don't know if it's going to be this game. So I have some. I'm probably, though, under on him and, over on the other 2 guys.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It's good calls there. We still got 2 positions to get into. It's the special teams and then the tight ends. And the tight ends have a little more intrigue today just because Gerald Everett being out does open up the tight end position a little bit for guys like Donald Parham Jr., who is only 7K on Fanduel, a great play on Fanduel over there, a big red zone guy too. Doesn't need many catches to hit value over there, and he's always someone that Herbert looks to. And you also got the value of like Stone Smart, 200 on DK. I like that one a lot. And then on the Bears side, you have Cole Kmet. So 3 tight ends here that could be very effective. Parham obviously gets the huge benefit with Gerald Everett out. What are you doing with him, Glock?
I guess it must be a price thing for me because obviously I play 5 to 10 lineups and I have no Parham. I'm probably going to bump him up just because I want some exposure. But the guy that you mentioned earlier, Stone Smart, I have a ton of him. I think it's definitely a price thing. And when you look at the snap counts, obviously, they get changed week to week, but it does seem like it was a tight end 3-way committee with Everett. Everett last week played 48% of the snaps, Parham 40%, and then Stone Smart 44%. So yeah, that's about half of the snaps that are going to go away for Everett and could get divided. Obviously, we think some Trey McKitty could get some action, and then the rest, are divided between Parham and Smart. But I think of the 3 of the Chargers, I think Smart is going to be my favorite tight end play, just price per dollar. The low owned pivot for sure is Trey McKitty. I know last year he was kind of our guy in Showdown slates. And I think Big T likes him on this slate, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with Smart for sure as my favorite tight end play. And then Cole Kmet on the Chicago side, I can't play everyone right. So I'm just I'll probably be fading Cole Kmet entirely. So that's my tight end position.
I like it. I like it a lot. A Big T, tight ends here. How much Stone Smart do you have? Is it over under 100%? And also Donald Parham. I mean, that's a good price for him, especially on FanDuel. And DK, I mean, 4,200. I think he's better than Quentin Johnston personally if they were head-to-head in terms of fantasy tonight.
You think who's better than Quentin Johnston?
Parham for tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have him higher than Quentin Johnston too. I'm running the numbers, so I don't know my percentages, but I like the tight ends. I like all of them. I like Kmet the least just because of his price, but I still obviously will have some of him. I love the tight ends. I could even, if the build, I don't know what the build would be because my numbers are running, but if I ended up with 2 tight ends, I don't think I'd hate it. If it got me like all studs, like say, I don't even know if it's possible, but 4 of the expensive guys plus 2, kind of like the build we had last Sunday on the show with 2 cheapies. I wouldn't hate it. I like Darius Davis more than those tight ends though. So I'm going to, out of the cheap, like under 1,000 players, I got Darius Davis the highest. Not by much, but higher than those tight ends. So
yeah, if Palmer
I'm
was
going to
out,
have Vita Jones a little bit too.
Darius Davis would have been fun. JSU, what are you doing with these tight ends tonight? And did you put up the St. Brown thing? Is he active tonight? Actually, not.
He is. He should be on IR, so I don't think he's active.
Correct.
But yeah. So answer that. Tight ends. I just have a thing. I have an issue with Donald Parham. I think he's really good. The only issue that he actually deals with is he gets injured all the time. He just constantly, gets injured. He had big concussion issues. I don't know if you guys remember the one in the back of the pylon. I don't know if it was a year or 2 ago, but it was like really bad. And that knocked him out for a while. And he's just always dealt with issues. But he's a good tight end. Like, he's a good receiving tight end. You know what I mean? Big body target, can go up and get it in the end zone. They do look to him. Even when they're fully healthy, he's a guy who they look to in the end zone. So that's telling you something. And that's still when they have all their weapons. Like, Mike Williams is still there. You know what I mean? Now they don't have Mike Williams. He's going to be a guy, I think, when they get down in that red zone area, they definitely look towards, to throw it up to. So I'm definitely in on Parham. And I think Cole Kmet is the tight end that people don't want to play. But I do think it keeps his ownership somewhat down. So I'm going to have some just because I'm going to be heavier on the Chicago builds than most. But I think Parham is better, honestly, on this slate here. It's just Cole Kmet's going to be lower owned, I think. So 200 ones, I'm with you on Stone Smart. I think you could play Trey McKinney, but I'm lower in general on those cheap guys, those cheap like tight end guys than it seems like you guys are. I have less. Rubio, it seems like you have close to 100%. I think you're joking, but I would assume you're what, like 40%?
I honestly think you can't go 40% on a cheap guy or anything like that. But I think when you're looking at all these builds and stuff, I just think getting the 3 Charger studs together might be one of the best moves. And I understand DJ Moore can definitely break that trio up there. But this allows you to get builds with one mid-tier guy, 3 studs, and Stone Smart, right? So I don't hate that path at all. Like in terms,
so how much of Stone Smart will you have tonight?
30. I mean, it's going to be what, 6x the field. So
that's okay. So I said 40, and you're like, you can't have 40, and then you're like, I have 30.
Well, 25. I mean, 25 to 30. Okay. I'm also tilting Embiid right now. So sorry. Embiid is just nuking the slate on FanDuel, so it's killing me.
Nuking?
Nuking. Absolutely.
Why does he always do that? They always do that where they're like, this guy could possibly sit. And then he goes from sitting to playing to nuking. It always happens.
It was the home opener too for the Sixers, which is the annoying part.
I was like, how could they sit this dude in the home opener? I was like, that's so cruel if they actually did it. Like, and he's not like injured in some way. Like, that's so messed up. So I'm glad he did play. Sorry, Rubio. I played him.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'll just tilt Scoot Henderson in peace. I always think Scoot Henderson's too good of a talent to continue to be this shit. Anyway, defense, special teams, kickers, defenses, our favorite combo in the world. The defenses have been crushing all season long. The Chargers defense gets Tyson Bagent and a Bears offense that is just behind a horrible offensive line. Well, it's interesting what you're going to do here with the defense here, Glock, because 5-1s are firmly in play. It might not be in play to JSU, but the Chargers defense has some intrigue at 5,400. Am I right?
I mean, I feel like the price is a little high for a defense that really hasn't proven much for us. I know I'm obviously more so on the 5-1 side than all of you guys, but still it's a pricing thing. And I'm not getting much of the defense actually in my 5-1s. Instead, I'm getting more like skill. I'd rather just play the skill position guys like, a Darnell Mooney, instead of a Chargers defense. And that might not make it a 5-1, but that'll make it a 4-2, which makes it a little more unique. So I personally don't have much of the kickers or the defenses, and I just think it's because of a pricing thing, right? Cameron Dicker is 5,200. I just think I'd rather get a skill position player there. Chargers defense 5,800. Rather get a skill position player there as well. So I'm not gonna have much exposure to the defenses and kickers personally.
All right, I like it. Big T, your favorite kicker in the world, Dicker. How much Dicker?
Dicker the kicker, baby. How do you not like Dicker the kicker?
He's the GOAT.
I do hate how they started
like the name.
Kickers. Yeah, it's just fun when he bangs that 50-yarder. You say Dicker the kicker. It's fun. I just hate how they started pricing these dudes at 5K. I also hate how long SaberSim takes to run this thing. My thing still hasn't finished running.
Well,
today it's struggling. It felt like today it's struggling.
It's crawling. I'm starting to. I'm not nervous because I still got 8 minutes, but I'm starting to get just a tiny bit nervous that it's not going to finish.
Glock witnessed me struggling to get the late swap in, and I failed to get Embiid back in my lineups. JSU, how are you doing with the defenses and kickers today?
It's that tie-dye shirt you got on.
I made it in middle school. It still fits.
No argument.
Little slight flex, Rubio.
You
I
should
didn't
go
say the
change.
stomach
You should
isn't
go
right.
take 2 minutes and change that shirt, Rubio. You still have time before we
Get your
get out of
Showdown
here.
gig,
Just complete wardrobe change.
The kickers and
Come back
defenses.
What are you drinking too? Is that a Modella?
Dude, he's
Modelo.
tilting Joel Embiid swaps. Like, let him drink a Modelo in peace.
I deserve
Let
this.
him just
Modelo.
drink.
Fuck you guys.
I mean, he does have 34 in the first quarter, so he's drinking, Rubio.
You know, my theory too to Glock was watch Embiid play 10 minutes. I'm gonna look like the smartest man alive.
All right.
Rubio, full
kickers and
galaxy brain.
defenses. I am over on Santos. And I'm probably over on the Bears defense. I think I'm probably at the field with the Chargers defense and the Chargers kicker. I'm probably either at the field or slightly under, but yeah, I hate, like, I used to just pull defenses out when I hate them, but after like a couple slates that we've seen this year where just like the defense is terrible, but then they just get the random touchdown, even though they're bad and they give up 30 and then they're on the winner and you're just tilting it, like, that sucks because, like, that's my whole team, but I didn't have any defense, and the one spot that was different was the defense. So I'm trying to just under project them, and it was interesting. Like, I way under projected the Bears defense, and I still got a good amount of them. So yeah, we'll see. They're 3,400. The other ones are like 5K. So that's probably why a little bit, but that's also probably why I got less of the 200 guys, Rubio.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have a little Trop in the chat. A little Trop won 10K on NBA the other day. Also another 1K today. He wants a 3-man core for the 2-2-2. So there's only one way we can do that. I have to ask each of you your favorite play on the slate. I also want to shout out Joshua Bleer here. He said he won 13K today because of the Kittle and Gus Edwards calls earlier today. That's awesome, man. Great to see. And I hope you guys find that success tonight. Code NBA 15.
Shout out Mikey.
Oh, Mikey
Shout
McGee.
out Mikey.
Awesome.
That?
Lifetime,
NBA
baby.
15% off your first payment. Make sure to get in. We have every sport offered, and you can also tilt Joel Embiid fades with me in the
Did you
chat.
guys see that guy like just roasting by he's like, I don't agree with the flow chart. I'm like, it's literally just numbers. I don't have any bias in it. What are we arguing about here?
Who's that guy? Can we get him a T-shirt? I like.
I still don't understand what I'm like sitting on the couch. Like, what am I arguing about here? Like, I don't have any bias on it.
Oh, that's nice.
Prez
That's
winning you 1K on $1. I mean,
Love it.
That's tasty right there. Nice Gus the Bus bullshit. I'm glad you played that bullshit.
That's nice. That's awesome. Gus the Bus, 1 yard runs, tilt the Lamar and Zay Flowers stacks. It's all good. We had a wonderful day today. Let's go ahead and get into our plays of the day for our guy, Little Trop. Yeah, if you want 10K, we definitely deserve to get him. 3 plays of the day. Glock, who's your play of the day here for tonight's slate?
Man, I mean, what are the requirements? Like,
Nothing. No requirements. Little Trop's building out a core. We need to get him one.
Well, I don't mean to like call myself out, but I'm gonna play 100% Justin Herbert. So
perfect.
Does that count? Yeah.
Yes. You know, there's only one man that we can go for the captain here. The captain of the ship. Big T. Who's the captain in Little Trop's 2-2-2 build?
I mean, everyone hates my captains because I keep playing quarterbacks, but I'm playing Herbert.
Oh, you can't.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, Justin Herbert, captain. Glock,
I think it's like the easiest captain.
He got 2 Justin Herberts out of his 2 guys for plays of the day. Rubio, should we just give Justin Herbert and cop out?
Yeah, ask someone else and just say to Herbert too.
Who's your play of the day? Justin Herbert.
In all seriousness, though, I think Herbert is like one of the easiest captains I've seen in a while.
You know why?
I'm just being serious.
You know,
there's
why?
a lot of directions he can go, and I don't know. I know it's a joke about quarterbacks and the captain, but I really do think he's a.
That's
great
what he's
player.
hoping for. Look at that.
And it lets you get creative in other spots. It lets you play the tight ends. It lets you do a lot of stuff. I like it.
I'll give a bear because no one else will probably give a bear. So I'll say Roshan Johnson. I think that the running backs are the plays for sure.
Roshan owes us anyways. He owes us. He owes us.
Roshan. I would have won 100K on that late slate if you had done anything. So you owe us.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Let's go ahead and we don't have much time for questions and stuff. Give me the score predictions of the game. Glock, what do you think the Chargers win by?
Tony, my wife just texted me, give me bets ASAP.
Stone Smart first.
She a better or what?
Stone Smart for a touchdown. You know, Rubio, she's one of these people that she goes in, she looks at odds. If they're not like plus 3,000 or better odds, she's like, that sucks. I want to win a lot of money. I'm like, you're the worst better.
Give her the white touchdown or whatever the dude's name is.
Who?
Rubio's bet.
Yeah, Stone Smart. He's down to 32-1 because some absolute sickos have bet that down from 39-1 after it was 100-1 2 weeks ago.
First touchdown that was?
Well, I would do Parham. I think the Parham odds are really good too.
Okay.
All right. Well, Glock, go ahead and still give me that score prediction before JSU just interrupted you.
30-7 Chargers.
30-7?
Yeah, they finally get people back on board tonight. After people are falling off the belief train, they get to beat down a bad Bears team. That's my take.
I'm going to go ahead and bet the exact score now. 30-7. All right, Big T, JSU, it's almost 8:20. You guys can give your predictions if you want. I do want to say NBA 15% off your first payment when you sign up with Frontier Sports. And don't forget, we have Monday Night Football tomorrow. We got NBA tomorrow. We got college football every week. We got every single sport covered above and beyond. Thank you all for joining us. Big T, JSU, any predictions from you guys here? And JSU's waiting for Big T to say something.
I'll give my prediction just so 28-24 Chargers. Give some respect to the Bears, people.
The Bears.
I think it's going to be definitely under, so I'm trying to calculate my score. I think the Bears cover. I think the game goes under. I think the Bears team total goes under. I bet that pretty big earlier. So if I think all that, I need the score to be 24-17 will be my pick.
Tony bet the Bears and the Chargers, just so people know. He bet the Bears to cover.
I did not bet the Chargers
to win.
Stop.
You bet the Chargers to win. No. You bet the Bears to cover. Rubio, end this show right now.
I did not bet the Chargers to win.
Damn it, Rubio. You're supposed to.